NATO is not at war with Russia, but I think if you look at what is happening, then one could say that in cyber we are at war. Definitely can say we are no longer at peace, but we are sort of still in a gray zone between that and real war, traditional classical war. But then, of course, we see hybrid actions from Russia.
Russia's violent war in Ukraine has set history in motion again. My name is Pisarska, and since 2022, I've seen my worst fears come true. With Putin's army invading Ukraine, never again happens again.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
The West has danced with the Russian bear for centuries, but it is us in Central Europe who have paid the price for living so close to an unpredictable neighbor. For 12 years, I've been organizing the Warsaw Security Forum, a platform for top-level politicians, the military, and the media to explore how we can live together in peace. Now, I'm taking you behind the closed doors of power as I meet my friends and allies who have helped shape our policy on Russia. And I ask, why has the West misread Vladimir Putin so badly? And is it ready to listen to Russia's neighbors now as we prepare for the worst-case scenario? In my journey around the globe, I also speak to the people who will live and die by these decisions. Welcome to my world. In the last episode, I spoke to the Russian opposition living in exile, asking if a political change inside Russia might even be possible. And what would come after Putin?
Это очень важно понимать Западу, потому что, конечно, расчеты Запада на то, что удастся построить в России в ближайшие десятилетия, после Путина, такую вот европейскую демократическую Россию, но вот это вот надо оставить в стороне.
I also organized a war game to find responses to the Russian threat in the region.
The biggest issue here is the neutralization of Kaliningrad.
And together with friends, we explored how to halt the Russian war machine.
The reason that Putin can conduct this war is that he has money. He gets the money from the sale of oil.
The Baltic Sea has become the new frontier in Russia's hybrid war with the West. My journey starts in the north, in Finland, a country that's never had the illusion that the bear can be tamed.
It's the second largest sea fortress on the globe, after Gibraltar. It's Suomenlinna Sea Fortress. It was built here when Finland was under the Swedish regime. French were sending a barrel of gold to help, because here a fortress was needed to keep the Russians out of the Finnish coast.
So that was the first cooperation between France and Sweden, a pre-NATO.
Oh, it's indeed. They have been in good terms ever since then.
When we are looking at Finland and Sweden, they have chosen to enter NATO because the Baltic Sea is now a NATO sea or a European sea. It's and the only way for Russians to go in the Atlantic is through this north and this Arctic.
The southern Finnish coast is one side of a narrow sea corridor that gives Russia its only direct access to the world beyond its western borders.
The point is that we have Finland, we have Estonia, and we have a 6 miles international channel to allow Russian navigation full freedom, including military and military aircraft.
And under the sea go all the cables.
Yes, these are all cables. They are here on the map. So in this corridor, Russia has full freedom of navigation, and they are also pushing 50% of their oil exports through this tube. 50% of the whole Russian oil export.
And it's these oil exports that fund Russia's war with Ukraine. To dodge international sanctions, Russia moves oil using a clandestine network of old tankers, masking the fuel's true origins. When a power cable between Finland and Estonia was mysteriously cut on Christmas Day 2024, suspicion fell on one of this shadow fleet, the Eagle S, sailing under a Cook Islands flag.
And the Coast Guard went to check the ship, and they saw that it has its anchor chain out. Somewhere here they decided to stop it and commanded to come to the Finnish territorial waters, after which they boarded. Well, they found out that an anchor has been dragged and it had been dropped already. And that's it, the rest is still under investigation. My hypothesis is that this is a testing, how well the technique of dragging anchor works, how should it be done, and then what's the reaction of those countries who are involved. If you just like that block this place, it's an act of war, and they will respond accordingly. So I think this will remain open.
So you don't see that until we're not in direct war with Russia, you don't see us closing the Baltic Sea?
That's well formulated. Direct war, and it will all close down.
We are no more living in a peacetime. We are in a competition time, and sometimes and somewhere and sometimes with confrontation and conflict. So we have to take that into account, the competition. We know in military that the best defense is the offense. So you need to shape and contest as they are shaping and contesting our environment.
I've joined NATO troops at BALTOPS, one of the alliance's largest maritime exercises. The Eagle S incident shows the new reality of hybrid threats, and crews here are learning fast how to respond. The only real defense lies in unity, the many flags of allies standing together whenever the bear tests our strength. But beyond exercises and strategy, the bear's threat is most deeply felt by those who live close to it. I'm heading to eastern Finland with local journalist Pihla Saravirta. Since 2023, this land has become the very edge of NATO.
Right now we are heading to Kontu, which is a small village right near Russian border. It's a tiny village, maybe like 20 residents living there right now. It used to be a lot bigger, but after the war, the village was cut into half, and now it's small, many people have moved out.
The war Pihla refers to is the Second World War, when Finland fought the Soviet Union twice. First in the Winter War of 1939, then in the Continuation War alongside Nazi Germany. Those battles left deep scars in the hearts and minds of the people who live by this long, uneasy border.
Let's go closer. Let's see how close we can walk.
Kävellään tuo.
Aimo and Ritva Liri are the quiet eyes and ears of this borderland.
That's the border. There's still abandoned buildings, yes, from the village?
Satepillari hylkäs koulunkin, repi levälle kaikki tiilet ja katot ja seinät. Ne on siellä.
This 1,300-kilometer-long border has become a trauma land made by history.
How many people actually died from this village in the war with the Soviets?
En tiedä muita ihmisiä, mutta just näitä sotilaita. Ne on parikymmentä sotilaita, jotka ovat olleet tässä sotimassa. Niin sanoo, että tuolla oli suomalaiset, venäläiset oli täällä ja kovat taistelut. Kyllähän täällä on törkyä maassa.
The equally long frontline in Ukraine produces trauma that will carry on for generations.
Tämäkin me saadaan kerran polttopuita tuolla rajalla, niin moottorisahat tärähti tähän katoon. Se on, niin kuin se on maassa aika kauan. Tässä on saksalainen, sanottiin sarvikypäräs, kun siinä on tällaiset muttarit tuossa. Se on niin kuin, tämä on venäläinen, siitä on luotimet läpi, tuohon rapsat on sirpale. Tämä on suomalainen. finski ja tuo venäläinen tuolla.
On European borders, thousands of lives have been upended on these killing fields.
Tämä on vanha partiotornikoppi.
On.
Eli viimeksi kun me tavattiin, Suomi ei ollut vielä osana NATOa, mutta nyt on.
Se on kaksipiippunen juttu. Tietysti se on Suomelle määrätty turvatakuu, että ollaan NATOssa, mutta venäläisille se on punainen vaate. Et siitä tulee nyt tämmöistä kissa hännä vettoo, näin sanotusti. Ainakin siellä ruvettiin uhittelemaan heti ja varustamaan ja tämmöistä. Että.
How long have you been living here?
Hän on asunut koko ikänsä. Minä olen asunut 63 vuotta kohta. Minun kotiin jäi 150 metriä aijasta tuonne puolelle.
Niin, 150.
Sitten vanhemmat kierrättiin evakkona siellä ja täällä evakkonahan hyökin oli ja täältähän kaikki pois silloin sota-aikana.
The war reshaped the region of Karelia, and its borders swung back and forth between Finland and the Soviet Union.
Eli osallistuiko teidän perheestänne silloin ketään tähän Suomen ja Venäjän väliseen tai Neuvostoliiton väliseen sotaan?
No, isä osallistui niin paljon hyvin, että Nuijamaan sankari on hautausmaassa on. 24-vuotiaan kuoli Antreassa.
Miten tämä tapahtui, tämä haavoittuminen sitten täällä sodassa?
Kypärästä läpi. Tarkkaampuja venäläinen ampui, kato kypärästä läpi, niin se on siinä. Vuosi ja 4 kuukautta ikää. Sisko oli 38 päivää vanha. Äiti 23, 1941, elokuun 25. päivä. Eno sanoi, että se on haavoittu tuonne Nuijamaalle. Raakalauvoista tehty arkut. Ei ole mitään parempia arkkuikaan sotilailla.
So this is your father?
Siinä on äiti, isä. Tuossa on tuo isän sormus on just sama sormus tuossa, mikä on tuossa kädessä.
What year? Do you know what year?
1939.
This is your father's medal, yes? He received the medal from the government?
Mannerheim, the former president, entinen presidentiltä.
For Aimo, these relics are the only thread connecting him to the father he has never known. This is your father, yeah. So, are you worried that history might repeat itself?
En minä pelkää, emäntä pelkää.
Ei minä pelkää, mutta kun sillä tahtoo olla tapana, että historia toistaa itseään. Mutta totta, eikä nyt kukaan toivo, että sitä tarvitsee kokea uudestaan.
As I listen to Aimo and Ritva, I can't help but think of today's Ukraine. For children in Donetsk or Luhansk, their own tragic collection of helmets and shrapnel will be a painful reminder that while borders are decided at negotiating tables far from home, the suffering remains.
If you want peace, prepare for war. And I think that realization needs to grow. And it's not just the armed forces, but it is also the state of mind of our citizens who have to understand they play a role.
Finns have turned learning from history into a living practice. Every weekend, hundreds of citizens give up their free time to train with the MPK, the National Defense Association.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Good morning, Kasa.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait for today's adventure.
Yeah. So I'm Mika Lilja. I'm a training coordinator here in MPK Naval Division.
Is this for me?
This is your stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I'm here to find out how a country of 6 million people hopes to stand up to the Russian bear. So tell me more about the Finnish defense
and the military system that you have, because it's quite unique actually on the European scale.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Well, let's put it this way. If something happens and the whistle has been blown, as you know what I mean, there's 900,000 like these guys, which we're training today.
So they are now in reserve?
They are.
And if they come to train, they come as volunteers?
Yes, yes. We have a small professional army, which is around 8,000 to 10,000 men or women, but they are mostly as trainers then.
Why did you volunteer?
My grandfather has been in the war, and I love the country and people.
So your grandfather fought with the Soviets?
Yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Second World War is central to the Finnish identity. They are proud of standing up to a much bigger enemy. Finns lost land and lives, but they kept what mattered most, their independence.
First of all, we're gonna have to, we have been teaching them already how to group when you come onto the beach. We have to take a hold of the beach, make it safe for ourselves and our operations. There you go. And then when they go away from the beach, we have to also make that in a controlled manner. Johtoveneisiin! We'll go.
Why are you doing this, really?
It's in general, this is about the defense of the country, but because every course has its own theme, it prepares for different things. Like, for example, today we are training with the boats here. So we are going to learn about the skills that we need to operate in the archipelagos and near the ocean.
I'm originally from the Middle East, Iraq. I've lived in Finland though my whole life. I was born in Sweden 2001 and moved in here with my parents in 2001, and I was raised in Helsinki.
And have you been a conscript in the Finnish army?
Yes, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So why are you volunteering for this program if you already went for the basic training?
Because I love this country. I love its culture, its amazing nature. I love doing this stuff. I like to be better every day. That's my motto, and want to gradually make myself better in all areas.
These volunteers are the fabric of Finnish society. Adel, a cashier, trains to clear mines besides an engineer and data analyst. The builder, the mechanic, the designer, all here sharing one purpose: to stand together if the bear crosses the line.
Now we're going to talk about some different landmines they have been discovered in the war of Ukraine at the moment. So here is a very famous anti-tank mine. This one is also an anti-vehicle mine. This can be deployed by airplane and all of this stuff. Get dropped somewhere in the nature like this, and then it explodes on contact. This is for vehicles. Then we go to the nasty sides. Here's a shut down drone, or it has had some kind of malfunction. Here's another nasty one. Here's an oldie but goldie. This one will be put in nature like this. From here, you can attach a steel wire that you can put in that tree, for example. And when somebody crosses the wire, this one will explode. And this is designed for shrapnel. So let's say a group of 7 people walking here, they will all have serious damage.
All these are used by the Russians in the Ukrainian war.
They are all used by the Russians. Yeah.
I actually spent some time with Ukrainian soldiers, including those who already came back from the front, many of them without legs, arms, and the majority of them told us this was the cause, the mines.
Drones.
And of course the drones that today are the main killer on both sides. 80% of Russian soldiers actually die as a consequence of this. 80%. So the Ukrainians don't even go into combat. They have to know how to operate the drones. That is today much more important than knowing how to shoot this.
The war in Ukraine is not going to be the war of tomorrow. We have to take into account the lessons learned of that. It's about scale, intensity. It's about more faster and everywhere. More of drones, more of unmanned systems.
We have several different drones and we learn to use them. That's the main thing. Every country has its own small secrets, but I think we quite readily teach what we can teach for the NATO troops. For example, our Arctic warfare is a specialty in Finland.
What I am about to see in this virtual reality helmet is a Finnish military top secret.
You can see, and it's comfortable.
Wow.
You can see small round map in front of you.
I'm looking at a detailed map that I can operate with my bare hands.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
in the big map. And it's
Wow.
Helsinki, which you're seeing. You can zoom it in or out.
Okay, and now I see not only the forests, but I see the cities. Yeah?
Sometimes marker.
A marker. Yes, I have the marker in my hand now, actually.
You can put it wherever you want in the map.
Okay, let's say on this house.
The battlefield capability at the operator's fingertips is immense. With a few flicks, they can send a swarm of drones to strike a location many miles away.
This is amazing. This is Helsinki?
It's Helsinki.
With drones striking cities in Ukraine and the same danger looming here, in Helsinki, even ordinary streets hide extraordinary defenses.
So we're going now underground?
Yes, about 20 meters below the ground.
20 meters.
And literally inside the rock.
So there is a rock underneath?
This is built inside the rock, the granite. We are in a civil defense shelter. In a spoken language, you often say a bomb shelter. And this is in the center of Helsinki.
And when was this built?
This was built 2003. This is for 6,000 people. And when it's full, hopefully never, you will have less than 1 square meter space. So it's very crowded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many similar shelters are across Helsinki?
This kind of bedrock shelters, we have approximately 60. And the rest of the shelters are usually in apartment buildings, hospitals, malls, schools. Total amount of shelters in Helsinki is 5,500.
Wow, that's a huge amount.
Yeah,
so when you say bedrock, what does that mean?
We are literally inside the rock, and it's 1.8 billion years old. So this is built inside the rock. We just put the spray concrete to make it a bit lighter, because granite is black or red, so it would be very dark here.
This is quite an impressive door, isn't it?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's something around 13 tons. And the next door keeps out all the toxic elements and gases from the shelter.
This is really a nuclear shelter.
This is nuclear proof. And this is actually very important to understand that this is civil defense. For example, there won't be any soldiers defending the shelter. There is nobody with an automatic machine gun outside the shelter because it's civil defense. And it's protected by the Geneva Convention, or it should be.
But I understand it's not only a shelter, it's also a public space?
It's first a shelter, secondly public space. It's always built for sheltering use. And then we use it just for something else in the peacetime.
Wow, this is amazing. Is this a football?
It's for floorball and futsal. It's one of the sheltering halls. We have 3 similar in a row.
And I understand people come here every day just to play?
Yeah, they come play.
It's amazing to see Finnish ingenuity in action. These dual-use public spaces make sense in peacetime, but in reality are built for the worst-case scenario. It makes me wonder, how many other Western capitals are this prepared? Finland's radical contingency planning even includes building self-destruct features into the civil infrastructure.
Did you know that even some of the bridges here in Finland have like a hose in them so that you can put explosives to prevent enemy going forward?
So you're saying that a bridge like this one we're just crossing at the moment can actually at any moment be destroyed if the enemy comes too close?
And they can be used as a weapon in a way as well.
That's absolutely fascinating.
So even the infrastructure is part of this all. And it's been really amazing to travel here with you because I've kind of rediscovered what we have here in Finland because I've lived here my whole life. I don't see the things the way you see things. So for you, you see the military everywhere. I've become immune to it. So it's been really nice to rediscover everything here with you.
They've got contingency plan for everything. They've got contingency plan for water, for food, for energy, for playing together because Baltics and Nordics, they are like a team and they are building up like a team and they are even stronger today than yesterday because everybody is NATO.
In the beginning, convincing the West to bring the Baltic states into NATO wasn't an easy task. I am deep in the Estonian countryside, trying to find my way to a friend who was part of those early conversations.
Hello.
Hi, Thomas. I'm afraid we got lost. So the pin got us into the middle of the forest. It's not easy to get to your place.
I'm going to drive out in my pickup truck at the end of where you're supposed to turn.
Okay.
Former President Toomas Ilves was part of Estonia's long journey from isolation to alliance. For years, he worked to pull Estonia out of Moscow's shadow and towards the safety of the West.
I was the ambassador to the United States. And while I was there, the Estonians, Latvians, Lithuanians, all three countries, NATO, became clear to me, we're not going to get into NATO unless we're in the EU. Would Poland get in? It's like a whole thing. No, but it's the Balts, never.
Eventually, Estonia, like its Baltic neighbors, joined both NATO and the European Union. To mark that moment, Toomas created what he calls Europa Park.
Different governments have planted different trees here. That's the Dutch tree. This is the UK tree. And here is the Lech Kaczynski tree.
Oh my goodness. And look at it.
And it's an amazing tree because it was like about this tall, right? So
you have people coming here from everywhere, yes? France and the United States.
Well, basically the trees here are NATO and European Union.
Okay.
Well, I made one exception. So I promised the Ukrainians, yes, you can have a tree too if you bring it, but they have to bring it. So.
Okay, so we're waiting for the Ukrainian tree here. But in a way, it shows the huge transatlantic community, the unity. It's a beautiful symbol. Yeah, so do you imagine having a tree from Russia planted here one day? Who would that be?
Well, it would require being European, and I guess that's a massive cultural change, which takes some centuries, I think. When I became foreign minister, I said, we have to do everything possible to be close to Poland, and because the rest of us are all tiny, Hi, we're a little country. You get Poland with its 850 main battle tanks, more battle tanks than all of the rest of Europe together. It's a real big country,
Do you personally believe, knowing Russia, that they would be able to invade Estonia one day again?
No one thought that they would do anything in Ukraine. So it really depends on what Putin thinks the West will do. I mean, it's not. I mean, they can try. I mean, they've done it so many times. I mean, twice a century, it was invading us. So that's historically that's what they do. I think Finland and Sweden joining NATO has dramatically altered the entire sort of Northern European security picture.
Are you worried that without the United States, or with a lesser role of the United States in international security, Estonian security will significantly be hampered?
Strategic interests change on the part of the United States as well, which means that we have to think much more about doing things ourselves, and that's what Estonia is doing, what Poland is doing, Latvia is doing it. We are doing something. I don't quite understand why other countries are not, but of course they're not because, well, we're their buffer zone, right?
Do you have specific countries in mind? Because it's obvious that Estonia won't be able to defend itself only.
Well, clearly we need to get the countries that today care. I mean, as I mentioned, you know, now we have this arc of serious countries: Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. The Baltic Sea has become a NATO lake.
And what about Germany?
I mean, because Germany is hoping, oh, when this is over, we'll go back to business as usual and all be making money again, and that'll be great, and this damn war, and, you know, we want it to be over, and let's make sure that Russia doesn't suffer too much, because then they won't be able to buy our stuff, you know. I said, why did you do Nord Stream 2 a year after Russia invaded Crimea and ruined the entire basis of the post-war settlement on not invading? What were you even thinking? Clear violation of the UN Charter, invading another country. No, that's okay, we want to make money.
I remember when Germany pushed ahead with the Nord Stream gas pipeline project. It felt like a déjà vu for us Poles too. From Estonia, I've come to Berlin to see how Germany has danced with the bear.
Russian oil and gas played an important role. It was seen as a stabilization of Russia on a democratic path.
I would always say that the idea of Wandel durch Handel, so you engage economically with someone and you hope to change, to support change in a political realm, I still think it's a good idea.
The Chancellor said, well, we have to listen to economy, and if we want to change our economy, we need cheap energy.
We had a very powerful business circle here in Germany. It's the so-called Ostausschuss, the Eastern Committee of the German Business Federation.
From the Bundestag to Berlin's corridor of power, Chancellor Gerhard Schröder's SPD led the push for Nord Stream, a project that would secure his own future just months after leaving office.
Nord Stream 1, the negotiations started in 2005. The Chancellor stopped his legislatory period, but 2 months later he was already in Russian service as being the chairman of the board of Gazprom. And then Nord Stream 1 started.
All political elite, all economic elite of Germany was very close with Russia from the point of view of economic interest. Energy was used as a tool of corruption, and we saw Schröderization of Germany at that time.
When Chancellor Merkel took over, and she had to enter into a coalition with the Social Democrats, for whom what they inherited from Schröder was absolutely still in their party. So, you don't change your policy only because you're in another government. So this is kind of the continuation of a policy where you trusted Russia, where you thought that you have to have a relationship with Russia.
She understood Putin and she knew what danger he is posing. And I remember after the Crimea occupation, Minsk process. And I was asking why this process and why they are engaging and why partly it is sell-off of Ukrainians' interest, partly. Her answer was, I know who Putin is. My goal is to avoid the war in all means possible. And I asked why you are going to Moscow so often, because he's humiliating you during the meetings. You remember the dog? She said, yes, I know. But I will go as much as it will be necessary to avoid the war. But her main goal was to avoid the war. It's a certain relationship to Russia, a certain fascination to Russia, but particularly the feeling of guilt and responsibility due to World War II.
This is what people here believe. They owe to Russia, number one, the fact that 20 million people on the territory of the then for the Soviet Union were killed during the Second World War. So there is this guilt, feeling of guilt.
The real escalation of diplomatic skills was then to offer Nord Stream 2 to Russia. It was a way of appeasement which couldn't have been worse.
Many Central European countries harshly opposed the construction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, seeing it not as an economic project, but as a geopolitical one. For us was a huge question about the gas price from Russia, and we have been paying about 30–40% more than Germany was paying, for example. And it was clear that with neighboring countries, you kneel or you enemy, and you have nothing in between. You remember the pictures of Nord Stream opening, and you could see so many European leaders there. You can actually see a big difference between those countries historically, geographically close to Soviet Union or Russia, and who had in the history made extremely bad experience, like the Baltic countries who disappeared as independent states. And the closer you are to Russia, the more you had a historical experience with the country, the more awake you are to the threat analysis. And the other countries didn't have that and were not willing to listen.
The key question for us is security issues. You remember this spring, the Russian build-up at the border of Ukraine. You never know when Putin could start again his attacks. But in case of Nord Stream 2 completion, we could see the full-scale aggression in Ukraine.
Is there a specific threat that you believe Russia poses now?
Of course, because now our leverage is Putin is interested in transporting Russian gas through Ukrainian territory. Having Nord Stream 2, he doesn't need Ukraine. Nord Stream 2 is a kind of invitation for the full-scale war against Ukraine.
Nord Stream 2 was a symbol of the naivete of many Europeans, many Germans who believed that the relationship with Russia would continue to be the one that we had with Gorbachev after reunification.
It's a certain overestimation of themselves. You could also call it arrogance or hubris. There was this impression that the Germans somehow understood how things work. They had their Ostpolitik, they had their unification in a peaceful way. There was this understanding you can solve your problems by diplomacy and not by military means. So we kind of understood it, and the Central and Eastern European, the Baltic countries and Poland, they didn't really get it. So there was a mixture of arrogance and lack of knowledge, lack of expertise.
And Germany was also pushing against resistance from the United States. Washington has already sanctioned Russia for annexing Crimea and using energy as a political weapon.
Bei aller politischen Implikationen, und diese politischen Diskussionen finden ja überall statt, ist es zuallererst mal ja ein wirtschaftliches Projekt, das hier vertreten wird, und deshalb halten wir dieses Projekt für richtig. Ich glaube nach der Diskussion, dass es eben möglich ist, Nord Stream 2 trotz dieser Sanktionen doch zu vollenden. Und ich will an der Stelle noch einmal sagen, bei aller politischen Kontroverse mit den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika halten wir die exterritorialen Sanktionen nicht für richtig. Und deshalb unterstützen wir dieses Projekt auch weiter, so wie vorher.
Die Ostsee-Pipeline ist kein russisches Projekt. Die Ostsee-Pipeline ist nicht nur im russischen Interesse. Die Ostsee-Pipeline ist vor allem im Interesse von Deutschland und von Westeuropa, denn wir wollen die Energiewende schaffen.
Это чисто экономический, коммерческий проект.
Then, in 2022, the year that Russia invaded Ukraine, Nord Stream 2 came to a sudden end. In September that year, the pipeline was complete and awaited only certification when an explosion deep under the Baltic Sea ripped apart the multi-billion-euro project. An investigation into who was responsible for the attack continues, but it's already clear that many global interests collide in these cold, murky waters.
The German idea of cooperating closely with Russia in order to avoid conflict. This is the idea, if you are interdependent, you don't engage in conflict. It failed with Russia. But I think the idea to reach out was not wrong. The mistake was not to listen to people who said, it doesn't work. And the second mistake was to not invest and don't take our own defense seriously.
As the Baltic nations prepare for the bear and Germany rethinks its course, Poland stands at the crossroads, at the eastern flank of NATO and a critical hub for Ukraine. Nearly 3,000 delegates are gathering for the Warsaw Security Forum with only one uppermost question in their minds. How do we live next door to a neighbor who only understands force?
Welcome to the Warsaw Security Forum. And most importantly, welcome to Poland, a land, as you know probably very well, shaped by history, and a nation that has learned, often at a terrible cost, that freedom is never free. Only 5 hours' drive from this very city, Warsaw, sits another city, Lviv. In 2024, a Russian ballistic missile has taken away the lives of the wife and 3 daughters of my friend Jarosław Bazylewicz. His daughters, Yarina, the oldest, was 21. Daria was 18. And little Emilia was just 7. Jarosław survived because he went to the kitchen to pick up some water for his family. And Jarosław is here today. I wanted to recognize his presence with us. Only last month, in August, short-range drones have killed in deliberate attacks on cities 58 people. Ukrainians in their apartments, in hospitals, in schools. Deliberate and unspeakable war crimes. And here in Poland and in the eastern flank, in the last weeks, we have seen that Russian aggression does not stop on the borders of Ukraine. Russia provocations continue. Drones violate Polish airspace, and jets violate and test Baltic and Romanian defenses. Because for too long, we, as the West, have tried to dance with the Russian bear, to tame it through trade, through gas deals. But the bear is a predator. And every step of that dance has been paid and is being paid by Ukrainian blood today. And if we fail to act, also ours tomorrow.
If the Baltic states are attacked, they are attacking Germans, Dutch, Norwegians, Brits, Spanish. All these nations are attacked. So I'm honestly believing the forces will come, the soldiers will be here to help to defend Poland and the Baltic states. The battle groups that are now already at the eastern flank consist of all the NATO nations.
The alliance is already here. This is the home of the Lithuanian Air Force and a critical hub for NATO in the Baltic region. It's the base for this important aircraft, AWACS, the Airborne Warning and Control System. The aircraft's commander, Ben from Arizona, has invited me on board for today's mission.
Today we're going to be taking off, heading down towards Poland. It's going to be great.
Recent hybrid attacks, from airspace violations to suspected sabotage of undersea cables, have triggered a united response.
Ready.
NATO is stepping up vigilance, deploying AWACS planes to track everything from Russia's fighters to the Shadow Fleet threatening critical infrastructure. This is the new frontier, where energy supplies, data networks, and defense all intersect.
Here we have our surveillance operators. They're the ones who are responsible for providing the air picture to our higher headquarters. Right here we call it the pit. This section of the jet, they're responsible for talking to any military aircraft that we're going to be actively controlling, whether it's fighters or bombers or attack or cargo.
This is sent directly to NATO headquarters.
Yeah, so that the surveillance picture, absolutely. So this is the tactical director. This is the boss of the mission crew. He's ensuring we're accomplishing the mission.
Part of today's mission is practicing mid-air refueling for another aircraft.
NATO 21, SF76, boom, radio check.
It's a maneuver that requires incredible cooperation and precision.
I think one of the things that is most impressive here is that this is a completely multinational group of people working. We have Americans with us, we have Portuguese, you yourself, you're from Belgium. And of course, that's at the very heart of NATO.
It's easy because we have all one common language, English, and then we go through the training together as well, which makes it pretty easy to integrate with each other. And then we base ourselves on SOPs, what we call standard practices. So we all know what to do, what to say at which time.
Is it the first time you flew together, the three of you, or?
During this deployment, yes. So it doesn't really matter who you're teamed up with because it's always the same procedures, the same language we use on board.
Right now we're orbiting over northeastern Poland.
So AWACS actually gathers information from the air and sees, what do you see?
The AWACS is like a big air traffic controller in the sky. We're able to see up to 500 kilometers out. We're tracking any sort of air activity within that range from our aircraft. The unique thing is that we can track the air activity as well as any maritime activity. So that's the big reason why we're here doing the Baltic Sentry mission.
What do you tell folks back home in Arizona?
Being a part of NATO is a unique and rewarding experience. And then to be able to come from Arizona, come out to Europe, live in Europe, participate in the NATO mission is a pretty amazing experience because we're all one alliance. So whatever happens in Europe is going to directly affect what's happening in America.
From up here, I can see the whole chessboard and the alliance that still holds it together. But as America looks inwards and it focuses drifts, Europe faces a hard question. How do we keep that bond alive when we may soon have to stand on our own?
We have to do everything to demonstrate to President Trump that when he wants to make America great again, he will not achieve that if at the same time tens of thousands of Ukrainians are dying and that Eastern Europe falls to Russia. We have to do what our Eastern neighbors, what Poland does, what the Baltic countries do, because they see it realistically. We have to finally believe what they tell us.
When I look to the future, I see Europe dealing with Russia, Europe, without America. Can we really do that? Are we able to do that? The next period in world politics will be very unstable. And power-based, power politics. And there the European nation states are too divided and too small to play a role. We have to be prepared.
We on the frontier will know who Russia is, will know the price of losing our territories and independence, we know the costs our people had, and we never agree and will never surrender.
My journey around the Baltic has revealed a divided West, from Berlin's old illusions to Helsinki's quiet readiness. To me, it's become clearer than ever that we in the West must prepare quickly, because the bear never sleeps, it only waits. In the next episode, I will explore how to talk to Trump's America and whether we in Poland should take security into our own hands.